Good evening and welcome to the VC3 News Update for Wednesday, June 7th, 2023. I'm Shalisa Nanton. First, on the local scene, the formal launch of the MRI machine is slated for June 29th, the date of the 5th anniversary of the modern medical diagnostic complex at Georgetown. This was disclosed earlier today by Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves during NBC's face-to-face morning program. Dr. Gonsalves, while the launch will be on that date, the complex will not be accepting patients until another late July.
Because there's a lot of training which has to be done in respect of many dimensions of it. But where are we at the moment? I've been advised that by the 25th of this month, the helium inside of the MRI, which would be required, which is absolutely necessary for its proper functioning, has to be topped up, and that arrives on the 25th of this month. Also, there are some specialized tools to operate the machine. They come in also on the 25th of this month.
The Prime Minister said he met on Saturday with the representatives and suppliers of the machine and 4 Cuban technical people, as well as the hospital administrator Ndinga Miller Walker and Donna Bascom, point person in the Ministry of Health for all practical things being implemented. The Prime Minister said although there is a radiologist and a radiographer, but there is a need for another one of each.
There's a radiologist inside of the country working at a particular institution. We're trying to recruit her. And then there's another radiographer, a second one to come out of Cuba.
Okay.
And then there's on-site training for the radiographer, which will take part of it online and part of it being done on site.
Right.
Then there's a trainer is coming in from Colombia. Additionally, the Maria Holder Memorial Trust with which we partner, on the 26th of July, 2 ambulances are coming, one for Georgetown, and the idea is, what I'm suggesting is that we have one on the leeward side, so that make it easier for patients to be transferred now.
He said the government is expecting 2 other ambulances, courtesy the Republic of China on Taiwan. Dr. Gonsalves added that in terms of maintenance, there is a 5-year maintenance contract with the suppliers.
There has to be a public sensitization program with all the protocols, all the practical protocols, including parking restrictions. You know where the parking space up at Modern Medical?
Yes.
You'll have to, there's so much a distance away from where the machine is, you're not going to be able to park.
Right.
So all that, and there, 1 or 2 other little things. But everything is going to be in order by the 29th for us to say, well, we launch this and allow them to do all their other training and everything before they come to the public towards the end of July.
That was Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves speaking on NBC's face-to-face morning program. Still with our local stories, the reenactment of the arrival of Indians held on Sunday by the Indian Heritage Foundation was witnessed by a number of special guests, including Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves and Opposition Leader Dr. Godwin Friday. In his remarks, which centered mainly on the history of the arrival of Indians to this country, Dr. Gonsalves said the Indians lost their religion when they arrived here, as they were so few in numbers. According to the Prime Minister, although the Indians were deeply religious, they were grouping for a religion which best satisfied them, and although they belonged to different religions, it was the Seventh-day Adventists that attracted them.
From the time
the Seventh-day Adventists came, they began more and more to attract members of the Indian community. And as more prominent Indians became Seventh-day Adventists, others followed suit. This is why you have such a significant following in the Indian community. Of course, Seventh-day Adventists are for all different ethnicities in our country, but a lot of Indians. That's something also which is interesting, how this integration and indeed what you may call creolization took place, which makes us what I call a metaphoric symphony.
Dr. Gonsalves said the Indians were, however, able to retain something which is observable throughout the Caribbean. He said while it is observable among other ethnicities, it tends to be stronger among the Indians, and may be because it was enforced greater.
But it tends to be that when you have it, but you're a minority, you tend to double down inside of your family and your community in order to come to terms with the challenges which are facing you day to day. And that is why there's such extraordinary discipline in the Indian families, such extraordinary propensity for hard work and thrift. In that regard, they have shared that quality with other minorities throughout the world.
He added that the Indian family structure, like the Africans, tend to be one of solidarity and community, but slavery subverted in every term the family structure of the African people. Dr. Gonsalves also pointed out that the Indians retained the love for bright colors.
You see, in an earlier period, and still to some extent, Indian homes with Indian people living in them, they have very bright colors. They wear very bright fabrics. It's interesting because those things, however much you've had a creolization, there are these, not just residuals, these are things which are still alive in people. And of course, critically, the foods. The use of curry. Curry goat is now a Caribbean dish. And that's a big contribution from the Indian community.
Dr. Gonsalves said the Indian community have borrowed, adopted, and adapted, and likewise, and they have also influenced our Caribbean civilization. And in related news, opposition leader Dr. Godwin Friday agreed that the occasion of the Indian arrival commemoration is an important one that should be acknowledged and preserved in this country. He said it is a day to honor the contribution of East Indians to the Vincentian life and culture.
Also, today offers us a moment to reflect on the importance not just of our history, but of going forward, of the importance of embracing diversity in our present day St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Diversity, differences, is not a problem to be solved, as some people seem to think. It is rather a source of strength.
Dr. Friday said the traditions, customs, and language and religion that were brought to these shores by the Indians, as we know, most were lost over the years due to colonialism and neglect.
Now that you are in the Indian Heritage Foundation, reclaiming that culture, not in its original form, of course, but changed, metamorphosed over the years by its articulation with the other cultures here. So, in that sense, what is produced is a uniquely Vincentian character of our East Indian community here. That can be a beautiful thing, and one that we must promote and foster.
That has been your local news update. Tune in to VC3 channel 114 for the regional and international news updates, along with the VC3 sports update with Sinead Hackshaw.